All right, so today we're going to dive into one of Ohio's weirdest local legends. It's the story that, believe it or not, kind of hopped right out of the shadows of a riverbank and straight into the heart of a whole community. So before we get into all the spooky, mysterious stuff, I want to introduce you to the Loveland Frogman. Well, the version of him you'd meet today. So this is him. He is the official mascot for the city of Loveland, Ohio. I mean, look at him. He's this friendly, smiling guy you might see on a bike trail or at a park, super approachable, really fun. You could say he's the town's biggest and, well, greenest cheerleader. But then there's this version of the Loveland Frogman. Yeah, this artist rendering is a lot closer to what witnesses actually claim to see. We're talking a bizarre, 4-foot-tall, two-legged frog creature. Leathery skin, maybe some glowing eyes, and honestly, a pretty unsettling stare. Big difference, right? And that right there is the central question, isn't it? How does a terrifying monster from the side of the river, the kind of thing that shows up in late-night police reports, turn into this beloved town celebrity?
Well, to figure that out, we've got to go back, way back to the beginning, to a few really strange encounters that first put this creature on the map.
The whole legend really boils down to 3 key moments, and they're spread out over 60 years. Each one just adds another layer to this weird story. And just so we're all on the same page, let's talk about what a cryptid is. Basically, it's an animal that's kind of wrapped up in folklore, like Bigfoot or Mothman. These are creatures that science hasn't proven exist, but local stories, they swear they're real. Okay, so our story kicks off one night back in 1955. There's this salesman. He's driving along the Little Miami River, and he spots something odd. He sees 3 humanoid frog creatures just kind of hanging out, talking by the side of the road. He apparently watched them for about 3 minutes, just totally baffled. But here's where it gets really weird. The strangest detail from that first sighting, one of these creatures supposedly raises up this wand that starts shooting out sparks. Yeah, that's what scared the guy away, and it adds this whole bizarre, almost sci-fi twist to the whole thing. Okay, so fast forward 17 years. The legend gets a huge boost of credibility when not one, but 2 different police officers report seeing it. And get this, it's within 2 weeks of each other. The first officer saw something frog-like dart across the road and scurry over a guardrail, even left scratch marks. The second officer actually found a similar creature just crouching in the middle of the road. And right there, that's where it looked like the mystery was about to be solved. And the explanation was surprisingly simple. So years go by, and one of the officers, Mark Matthews, he changes his story. He comes out and says, you know what? It was just a big iguana, probably an escaped pet that had lost its tail. But here's the thing. That new story didn't quite line up with his original report. Back in '72, he said the creature did have a tail and that he'd shot at it and missed. Now he's saying it was tailless and he actually killed it and recovered the body. Of course, other pretty logical explanations have popped up over the years. Some people think it could have been a giant salamander, like an escaped pet. Others point to a nearby factory, Totes, that was apparently working on a rubber frogman suit right around the time of the first sighting. And, you can never rule out a good old-fashioned prank. So you'd think that would be it, right? Case closed, a couple of misidentified iguanas, maybe a scuba suit prototype. But no, this is where the story takes another turn and gets even more interesting. Instead of just fading away, this supposedly debunked legend just exploded. It became this massive cultural phenomenon. And in maybe the most unlikely twist of all, the cryptid became the star of its own bluegrass musical. Can you believe it? It was this wild adventure story about rescuing a local outcast from the Frogman. And here's the kicker. When it premiered back in 2014, the show was an instant hit. Sold out crowds. It just proved that people's fascination with this creature was stronger than ever. Even the critics loved it, calling it riotously funny but infectiously endearing. I mean, think about that. The story about a scary frog monster had officially become something people wanted to celebrate. And the community just went all in. They totally embraced the cryptid. He became the official city mascot in 2023. He's the hero of children's books that teach about conservation. He got his own festival. He even inspired a mini triathlon race. It's amazing. Which brings us back to that big question, right? Why does a story like this not only survive, but actually thrive, even when there are plenty of logical explanations trying to shut it down?
So when you think about it, after all the sightings, all the skepticism, and yeah, even the musical numbers, does it really matter if the Loveland Frogman is real?
And the answer seems to be not really. No. Because this legend, it gives the town of Loveland something special, a unique identity. It's this quirky, fun story that makes it different from every other small town out there. See, the truth of the frogman isn't really about biology or zoology. It's about community. It's about the shared fun and unique identity that a really good, wonderfully weird story can give to a whole town.
And it kind of makes you think, doesn't it? What are the quirky stories your town tells about itself? And what does that story say about who you are as a community?